elegant kakije jirgo nganar Kakalawais College of the Marshall Island and Chijatokum Kamane Pajana Kamana presentation one Jejuan Malahol. The Kachung lower schedule gain, Hawaiian Kayanak schedule gain, and Kamidin Mai Kapalawayan Nitijela, Ilowajan Odar Melalagare. And the Kachung lower schedule gain John Odar Merom. Malaban Kamidin Monona way very per College of the Marshall Island President Award Carl Acker Cup in Matan. MNH Kamelale come introduce you on Kajuit, Kabrata, public Ronjagelo, Hawaii. At this time, Carl, thank you for joining us on behalf of the College of the Marshall Islands and for the submission you've submitted already before the committee members. And the procedure here will go as follows. We will let the Auditor General make a brief summary on your audits, and then after that I will let you go ahead and make your presentation and also introduce your colleague for the purpose of public and the committee. So let me give this opportunity to the Auditor General first, or maybe let's go this way. Let me give you the opportunity first, Carl, and then after that, after you make your statement, I will give the opportunity to the Auditor General. So please go ahead.
More, Mr. Chairman. With me is Stevenson Catan, our Chief Financial Officer, and I'll just turn it over to the Auditor General, as you mentioned earlier, so he can, I guess, say what he needs to say, and then we'll do our thing here. More.
Okay, and num and chicken rain, ilo pulen ngakonarong Mr. Cotton konarong ugong Carl every now and then summary ilo anet kanan we ilo an public romanya karon romlo kayan majal other the general ne lewa jini ngwe
Komol chairman komol ganam leto ginin mokata yogin rail perjoralen kau di jogum Rudi Rana Rudi Jan Committee and Public Accounts General Kamane Jerabali Nair Pranot Lelak Kelengan President Ari Localjo, Mr. Hager, and Chief Financial Vijayo, Mr. Katon, Iloi Rukuba, the elegant relevant rain. Pranot Lelak Perkelengan Rudi Rain, Yavar Rain, Colleague Ranget, and Nitijela, Ilo Junian, Royan. Johnny Roar and Johnny Ubijan LC Cup, Johnny Assistant Attorney General Roar, Johnny Ubijani per lewat nan kelengan erjang, ilo ada yang cerbar malok. Chairman dengan penuh-penuhan college dengan roto jin congol jliu menjadi relok, itu macam jam kami dia nak cino lengeri, ngan pelen kabirulogi lok. Menciri yang fokus attention dan kami dia na urjuan summary report ubijar kebuji dengan element tadi kijian financial highlight kan jadian issue kan meroj report itu lo compliance of the report ni. Akilo tu karuin chairman yang mengajar region summary ni ubijar auditor general kebuji ejuan unqualified auditor opinion yang ada yang kar kono no kage kelok cirik malele ni chun report yang man ila wa we na ergar report di parliament activity to an college ngan yo malele be ila report de changon has de yo changon liabilities yo logar yo changon physically changon yo therefore the net position at the end changon yo ejme ila wa we na ergar college report de karangan report na an ruban bunrana Emilo Tura Bagin, Mr. Chairman, total as the one college, comparing EO lock, Ragar, Rigalokan, and Angan Jonin, Chilubujima 1000, Langajani comparing EO lock Mota. Not position and college, Ilokat Jamalokan year, Prenotar, Rigalok, can and angan Chim John Bugui, Chilmol 1000, Total operating revenues go and college aga money go kar kolagi ta prino drigalak jirik kenenangan chonganin chongojino tawin per comparangan year lakin karo total operating expenditure or prino decrease compared to the prior year by approximately 1.3 million, which mainly is attributed to the implementation of the college's financial recovery plan as integrated in the audit report. Pelen John Gijan Junior highlight wo me report na quality Gijan why we nan college on malak ilo contingency lo page wrong element in audit report na quality ili jom Chakala jawan college yo iloan jawan kral muri ko ipenaga legal obligation ko elabalak jen jawan as ko aga resource ko rebe pen college yo ilo jon trio ya karu aga ilo short term period ko jen menini walo jon unrestricted net deficit in the end approximately 1.2 million ilo kar chamlogan year na chairman Iber palo kalau ilo memang kalau juga depend on remar dan subsidi yo kapal support on remar yang manual appropriation ko jan Nitijela ngan sustaini aboriginal aga ilo media juga original kap buijal nidwan cukulen kamino de inarui ilo tura berakin chairman financial highlights again it John report yang money ilo webinar ke report agilan report na eno dan per highlight ilang prino challenge ko fee aga penojiro ilo kalim jigan overall I think college na arpek jet pungutan ko eno dan overall curriculum expenses juga Ikijen report na kin karo chairman eno da rengar kemlele ke jupong ilo kacujo iya oleh the company jin financial audit the private company pen internal control of compliance report apar perjana imanam ila jab pulen titeli ta issue kana raise or MN issue sebelum beran college or highlight di perjana iman Imila jab on mal hodam tibirigi itama kay berjinem ever presidentin kap CFO dengan air leto jad malalego aga igran congratulate the college Mr. Chairman ilo dan obiyo gan chona aga the amman ebe kalak kay jarbalin accounting ko rar pagsigir emran marong report accurately position air ilo chamlokan ako kenaan again read chairman komol dada kan yeni
Komol other the general lo train in lalangan the president and CMI 11 Malagot Mr. Hacker please
More Chairman, more Auditor General. Just briefly, the last couple of years at the college has been a financial challenge, as the Auditor General mentioned. We have been able to turn the financial picture around because of the implementation of the financial recovery plan. And for FY14, we fully anticipate those numbers to be very similar to FY13. So we're anticipating that this positive trend, I guess, for financial management at the school will continue. So just briefly to repeat a little bit of what the Auditor General said, for FY13, we had a little over 2% increase in revenues and a 12% decrease in expenditures, which allowed the college to move from a deficit of over $500,000 to being a surplus of over $600,000 in 1 year. And like I said, for FY14, we're tracking the same type of response in terms of a surplus budget again.
Thank you, Carl. If I may have Mr. Katon to translate for the purpose of the public that are hearing us. Chalagan Nitijela rugok and other chalaga chalagolotorium, Jenicha Cholaburum Paruguk, the Comaron Chivangam Ugok and Kajang, Elaptada Roya, Malhot.
Kumol, Mr. Chairman, and Barjonan, Kubalo de Lunan in Kaudijago, and Romodala Rakanan and Kaudijan and Yuk, Kamidina Maladada, Rajarabarin, Matamilo, Ijin. Ang ano tuwo ko te menyo nalalayan president college ngan sa mga IG at kwalo ko ngan sa mga IG at nalalago mi auto general ar kwalo ko ngan kwalo ko ilokar college ngan implement charbal ko me lido ngan college ngan lolor jagi ngan lema lo chala rajam agar leng chat financial challenges ko me college nagar yoni ano kamila dai ga agar warjet tabe chat ko me jangar prior year kami jaya juga lolor jagin pukul clear beren trigolok yung ilokar 2013 yo agar war cion tabejet ilo chamalakon yo ken chijino buku cuma $1,000 negative ilo ada na account ko an chugulen aga kan recovery plan o juan mana kajane me chugulen agar kamane yang lolor jagan bring back financial situation an college agar kamane boy ilo yo lock 2013 enrolled account one college and Bokuan and Chuan surplus ilo lima buwi cuma $1,000 kumol.
We anticipate that it'll take us about 2 more years through the fiscal year 16 to clear all the prior year liabilities built up since 2006, which was the last year the college had a surplus budget.
Enit pelin book paru iya nganan net college o kaya palakatok financial standing inan cenengar perilo jegin elegin jijino iya ko inan nagar kaya rawal ala balok chen congan chen ora jadi alang to college nam ko man poen lat muriwan ilo ka jojo iya build up ngan congan ini megar lengan lok million dala imenet book gian boy nganan college in clear it deficit ginan e jegujin realize surplus olop ka jojo iya.
And with last year's audit, our I guess our major finding on the financial statements was the non-compliance with withholding taxes from fiscal years 09 and 10.
Yimilo report na yan o tanagar walak major issue ilo financial audit na yan college yan igijin finding igijin withholding tax ko may college yan arjan meron kalagi over the years Magarigino jam 2009 yo. Ilo barjon wawin college nar tita kay withholding tax kenjan reserval imar jab kalagi ngan kenu yo.
We reached an agreement with the finance ministry April, May on a resolution of that issue and a payment schedule which was approximately $240,000. It will start that repayment beginning next month.
Ngan clear murigain ipen an college ipen geno yola bigichin withholding tax gain your joint agreement ngan an college in clear murigain image rubu juma $1,000 ge me wala tak chengar raldo bugu juma $1,000 go eno dan gar bar college in chelet committee nilo yelok im agreement in chinu kallai romol juma $1,000 ka jojo kuada ka jojo aleng ilo na ichino lo ok aleng ilaw.
On the internal controls, our issue is with when we're registering students about names that are on birth certificates versus names that students are using when they come, I guess, to register at school. So this is what that internal issue is the matching of names on official paperwork to names that are being used, I guess, officially by students as they register. And that causes a little bit of a problem with Pell. And so that's what we're looking at here. And I guess fortunately the question cost is fairly minor. and has been significantly reduced over the last 2 years. I guess 2 years ago, we had nearly $2 million with the construction. We got those cleared. It was also, I think last year, some of that was also related to construction projects. So we've been able to work with the finance ministry to get those question costs cleared, and now it's trying to clear this up with students. We have new software at school information system that should help, and hopefully next year we won't have these compliance issues.
You make internal control order they want college and internal control go on nganantale financial practice go on minor finding go me agar walak yang listed the law audit report on 2013 iloan finding kana urgent question ko je me jawrogin emen 1000 rubu jongul comparing yellow 2012 car question ko je elang ene accumulated to prior years nangan jongan raw million im question cause again me kena kagi ya notan ba emujar charbali pen ministry and finance kamolo lergen karajaram cibang koir ngan kajum clear prior year question cause go charbali negar kamani pen ministry of finance ko bal go pen reservoir materi lo dioi
I really don't have too much to say other than I guess maybe a couple of things that we've done to try to reduce costs. And a big one that we've been talking about and sharing is with energy. This year, this fiscal year, after 3 quarters, we have saved nearly $250,000 compared to 2 years ago. A lot of this has been with the change out of air conditioning units, and also we've redone the school with all LED lighting. It is certainly my thought that this is something that the government as a whole should be looking at aggressively to do, because this is not very hard, not very difficult, and we can save a ton of money and put this to better uses. Or if we're under this kind of fiscal pressure, it can help reduce costs of government. But we provided some of that information, I guess, in the report.
Jalok menen alawalok ini bam kemela lagi kan order din aga minori ni marang ILIT ngan kajamalonan kena education junian ini jadi bukan college ini kijen university saving kena kaya kamanไป college and save $250,000 ikijen investment koan me agar kaman dengan energy efficiency im kan return of investment ini agar kamanไป saving gain college na realizing rent contribute dengan mana alak muri na me agar build up lo iya kan ijino jamin ini dak college na agar merong divert cerca dengan program ko me agar jam merong funded im kan experience ini cik-cikin me jika lo agar kaman dengan college Jalok kaji tu ke alam government na invest alap jen ilo energy saving ini walak je saving gongan government me narong realize pe ilo kalajen kengar lo return on investment igi jen energy efficiency dan initiative ko me kemi kamani lo terrain.
And I guess before I turn this over to Stevenson, I do want to say publicly to thank all the staff and employees at the college, because like I said, the last couple of years have been tougher for some people because we've had to reduce salaries, but unfortunately it's something we had to do. But I do want to thank everybody at the school for their cooperation and their understanding for what we had to do to get our financial position, I guess, back to normal.
Moga jana kajalwala magin dengan Steven jen igran moga jana kajalonan gena publicly kamolol reservoir matai lo CMI kan kijeje do air kan kada yo air alap tada ilo ini me agar bengan kalajo ilo agar merong bring back cause kan kalajo no level even jangan funding ko mere available ka jojo iya ijalaga ya bayan agar bin pe martan exercise ko jagar kamani agar celet wana reservoir agar ikamolo ler kan ke target jenimik im kan melalem karajar air kan nangen redot kemol.
And then I'll just ask Stevenson to just briefly summarize some budget initiatives that we're going through, because one of the things we've tried to instill at the school is that the budget is everybody's business, and that this is not our money, that we are stewards of the people's money, and that we will, to the best of our ability, manage that money the best that we can, and to get the most use out of it for everybody. So I'll ask Stevenson to briefly just go over some initiatives that we're looking at the school.
Kan melim nan am German alang ini yon malang tom privilege dan cover report me agar wan man wa jangan ipen kami nam.
Man ko jaga uga na no kan kala gada da wa rauruk jono statement boleh ni marong translate him na lamai lewat igajen your I'm just trying to translate your last statement on the money belongs to the people. You can know China again me rojadongan CMI rojan aramich recherbala kajabaro chair again an aramich and which one other path of translator one hour agar one malagot Steve
Kumol Mr. Chairman ini kajong pagilo tu karun report na iwe yang na ilo man biyan kami din nam ngana ni ridi bilang ngare aga ano tana kar auto general qualified auto dan CMI ke cuan unqualified audit ilo kar internal control amyang ano tana kar report dengan kami din nam iyo lak agar qualified agi menanan report dengan iyo ke ilo iyo ini unqualified yung elang jab charbal ko kamar kamon ilo iyo kiya ngan revise I policy ko ameng ngan kakamon lak charbal ano ta ke jisa ko jatap ngan jigin practice ko rainin me jego kamoni we ngan minimize or prevent fraud ko me rani wala ngan kalajin yung ilo charbal gain agar kamon we en ano ta nagar president ko alak realize surplus ko ngan kalajin ilo ka 2013 iyo ilo jamlagon lagi iyo imilo report na ko na jalale jagar par dibirgi ako ayo pai to iyo ko malok kencongan jegin financial standing on collagen ano dage ilo aro jalai odo the report again reji to kodum kalak namba ko kalak compliance question cause ko
Senator, other the report on Kova, your joiner submission, presentation, Berman Mijam, Berman Mijarud, Van Mijil, to the page looks something like this. Our Malahot Stevenson.
Kumol Chairman, yellow order the night quality. Ijalaw nang marang qualified ko ano to kilo iyo ko malak college agar financial statement wan ragaran qualified aga ilo lugun mall tumulalin chuan audit ya ka termo me ka er ka kajar bale rajba clean audit ilo lugun mall yalang ko ne jalale me kada ka financial statement wan kan college e pa agar chelechet financial situation wo me ribbon im ano dar gar qualified ragar realize chet deficit ko ilo iyo ko mandak patabi lagun menegin agar still consider unqualified ano dar gar audit General qualified e bole lime mon report wan badab ilo mulalin e qualified e boy anagar ring dan college kan jet financial challenges go yung agar kaman boy college en walling da kan jet idea go man create janan budget initiative im program initiative imilo bar report na e qualified kan jegin imunan qualified ngan kami dia nam Mr. German gay initiative gay nam budget outcome gay ne qualified ima ILID charbal ko im college na mijana TV kan chet chen go me ready me anar mijin majal ano ta anar president ko alo ke jabam yang chen go agar di dongan gem pegemin ka charbal ngan cicidem jimoyo ano ta ke kamela dilo kagian go arangan ka charbal ngan college im chen gin yang ini jawat lain im charbalin im tabarako me college anar ka charbal ngan chen gin me kali dongan college im jonian outline project one college in Charbal one program one Outer Island Distant Education Program yo im is link classroom one college in ibben chugul go ilo Outer Island ibai wajja im jaloj jonian program go jode vocational training program go Chuan program go me ilgun awrak ngan college yan rainin and other day kimi chelat can you get budget can chaboy chen yejigi chen cause and repatriation imi chalakachite ke par challenge on government in imi par challenge on college yan im agar kamman ben wallang tak idea ayo ngan yang human aidamna martial staffing ya jangan create chuan fast faculty fast track policy o me ene kamana ba kemen recruit tok chet remaja rome rabojak im ramana na in kapwa master im CMI ene fundayer ko balo ko ben scholarship bodo anjilgun lawyer weran pagjet degree master ko master degree im rol to kum charbali lo college ngan address e chedian area go me relgun minina ibu jalab data area go me te kemi consider high risk ilo ngeji dengan recruitment kene kayam berga giro role image menino daga kemi chiding log staff rohan chiding log yang kaddo BA in master degree ngane role to book management position ko the idea behind that Mr. Chairman janganar kebo college anar pen rumajal mandoro pergi position kan rawar ko bajen jab recruit to jan likin anot chajala ge chalan ilo majal ini jabai so chain ge me chakar merang realizing and company initiative again chedi air eji to wajan annual saving kana me kame realizing kan initiative kana budget initiative kana me kame company ngan kajiam cut cost ya bayan lang menin Mr. Chairman aga ini kajiangun yatro dilo menigin me jilo ka chira alai to rawr yem matan program wo me rawr ngan college ngan dibijare jare ajiro ne jire chiti program o eno ko jala ge nge jalak high school diploma japan relang college so kamolol kenu yola pegi karchi dio dolo major aki go badok chiti lo ipam jalang lag rujugu roj karo jalo jen chiti program war ngane relang lo college nar so enrollment ilo college nan jan increase lok imelang lag karo jalok eji to go gen program ini jadi begin me college ini jelo geramin na ibi ngan college so eno tanagar ber college jalo ber Presiden kualakan university saving ini matan budget initiative ko dengan college dengan cibang kakam namalak cara balago me lidok dengan college do cuani ya aga ngan kaja malak summary na iknan kualakai all ben program ke ini initiative ke ini me kalajar ke human reporting summary ini me ngan kar provide dengan kami dinam ragar ilmu aku di ilo cuan cek me enjap realize what saving and college and again address other issues go me kami face day to day ilo college so cuan initiative cuan program it's to complement 2 or 3 other needs for the college imelang kami di nama ni jelangan ni nom ready rene jelo ya all ben initiative again right complement each other ngaji pangron yun malak alap dada ajiru ro ne jinigar kebojir anjon yum jagala jo malak eno cejala ke japo skill go iberi majalin rainin kenan gin riyadot Mr. Chairman palen manangin aj lewat yum elang ene jelang kajideng jabrewat kumoro project ini manana ine kajeng wa ke changon naro naro kumol
thank you Mr. Katon ilo ngnan ko bala ko ben other the general congratulate the College of the Marshall Islands CMI president of management team of all project all faculty staff and CMI jiloge it's per journal lo yen is unqualified other the kangan opinion and other the general's office imyu ki general compliance and women gachet padap it were over finding and what per year logman or men finding ko I can congratulate the Senator Mataji Darani Kachong, Kajagan Chedian finding Gayak, and I congratulate the President Inaragap, faculty staff in a Chilo program initiative go year Pugi, Chino, Pugchigirum, Kamani, Rawana Malakagi. Mengarda at the same time, Rikachong were reduce your cause of wire and Chawe financial support, Chawe finances going. Run a national institution in Adam Jejuwadaga College of the Marshall Islands. I'm a joint institution I just take pride in. And I join our Karojalak, from General College in Chitrego, Ramodalok. I take pride in that as well. Ijalawan minagin, iminailalangan member Ramatayla Iling River finding Gajadak. Kajitago ilang data, Bolini Mantada, it's a concern. What is the status on the WASC, the accreditation status? My understanding, Mr. Ecker, is that one of the finding, I suppose the major finding, is the financial outlook of the college. If you can perhaps enlighten us, the committee and the general public at large, we like to understand where we're at in terms of the WASC accreditation status. Akumaro.
Moral. Currently, we're on warning because we have what you have in front of you. The audit is not clean. We have a couple of findings. That's a problem for WASC. Also, in the last letter to us, they identified operating losses, which I really don't know what to say about that. That has to do with an accounting exercise, not an economic exercise, because the operating loss in the audit does not include the government subsidy as revenue. And because that is not included as revenue, it shows up that the school is operating at a loss.
Kumol, yigijin kajitago, eboy anik bin waga eboy not angar kwalo ke yilo audit report is kwalo ke college na jabro idilo eja kwalo do report wana ke jabro idigan operating loss milalin elab expenditures and incoming revenue one imagine dan kwalo ke it's in reporting it's audit exercise yilo operating loss na me rekan na lo report na jan was it to include money go me rejito jan government im prainot enodan par kwalo ke ingin report me periman me janam tejeredom lale ke include finding go me was for consider ke raja manangan report an college kumol.
So what we will do is take care of the audit first, try to get the audit clean. The next will be a discussion with WASC about this whole issue of an operating loss. We're a nonprofit institution. I looked at operating losses. I cannot find anything in the audits where the school has never operated without a loss. So this looks, I don't know, changing goalposts. I don't know what you want to call it. That's one. Two, the college is restricted in terms of the types of operations for business or revenues that we can raise without taxation. So this is an issue for us, but it is something that will be discussed with WASC to try to get some elaboration from them, because this is the first time that this has ever been brought up. It was 2-3 weeks ago when we got that letter.
College and it kajiman take care of the finding law other than and clear way and a finding law next year. Ikijian operating laws and is findings and WASC college and it been WASC kajiman kanani bengan chigigin air qual report on the law operating laws by Jen college and position one Echiba University report the finding name quality. College has been operating on those and deficit every year. Can get along a in nem college in all be operate on losses. Aga ikijan reporting may president in a quality ikijan other than it's CASP requirement and other chicken format on a non public institution going and provide a report on air. Kumol.
But saying that, I mean, there is a need for the school to get those operating losses down to where they match the subsidy from the government. Unfortunately, in previous years, that operating loss did get very high, in excess of $6 million. at the ends of FY09 and FY10. We have that down now to under 4 million. But what this means is the school has to keep producing the same type of results we had for FY13 for at least 2 more fiscal years, I think, to see us get to that point.
Ano ta ba kwalo ko nganan kala yo roll tok im level ipen jangan subsidy ne im jolok operating law jagan ilo ka jojo year raja will bring down cost akan air and be more creative ilo air manage funding kan me raja lang to ilo kala jagan nala bata operating expenditure na ilo ka jojo year pen marong level ipen subsidy yo me kene jele to ko ene jolok problem ilo financial standing on college.
But in terms of accreditation, we've taken care of everything that they put in front of us until this last letter. The contingency count is satisfactory. The deficit is gone. The structure of the budget has been changed to produce non-deficit budgets. You know, the salary structure is relatively compatible with PSC in many areas for the staff. So like I said, this is something that will be long-term. We have the next WASC visit in March, which is a comprehensive visit. This will be something that will be looked at then. But we'll discuss, like I said, some of this with people back in California when this comes up. But my opinion is, just based on the past, is that at least where we are now financially, this is not a problem. Even when the school was running record surpluses and large fund balances over 10 years ago, the school still had operating losses. So to be quite honest, I don't know where WASC is coming from with this. This looks like, I said, something that I don't know, like they're picking it out of a hat as far as I'm concerned.
Chenjalaya all of you go me was raising Mokodalo Mijan Kalajo clearly yum uwagi until the Ladayo me take up the Wigolo kitchen operating lodge and they make a Kanan Mokodalo. Aga another work Paloke exercising Nigijen Balane Bajadan in one mile of my June, you know me Kalajo. EKG imerong kamani program go ye email data nganan comply with WASC requirement. Aga enodan berbalo ke cencalayan financial standing on college and rainy ni menjadi improve. Jenagar juga mengalami me college jenagar receive clean outcome gen report go jen WASC. Cencalayan ejalage yang menjadi college and roll dogum perilo juan jiwa jenu me M1 financial standing one. Image move forward. Come on.
Okay, thank you. Let me give the opportunity. Thank you for the information. Public needed to hear it, and committee is pleased to hear the same. Let me give the opportunity to the other members to pose any questions or comments. Senator Alfred Muk, Malawan Muk.
Man komman, Mr. Chairman. Ilawan per iman committee ne president yo kap chief financial officer yawan college ni kanan le lo joint special claim ani ro parain wat pero dilo claim ko de ko are ngan kajang archer bal jan chipunan rainin tongat drain ena chijir ruwa da no de manyam pulen treji charian kacita ko me rangar walang dak tanda meler ko marari to jadi pen auditor generally kincit kopan meler ko me register kopan reporting other report again and college non physical year 13 pelin imarong perkaman koko babai kecien menangane mere repeated finding jan yo lak tongan kiyo and ngay jumaya karong melelewo yang menjan ikicien menegan withholding tax kanai muriwa dengan kia or me ijmaya agar rong jagai currently rong 1,000 jenba outstanding na college na pen marwan clear all ben gar withholding tax na me is payable ijmaya ke Melalin ke ever agai man koi dojo an update information kan changam nai me chata bare kia lo terrain ngai chap kunun kan tanah jo lo report na me kalau kan apa wi malam chain payable an withholding aga kia me jit kunono eor chade no ga komi ba komi kamane for wongan ka jengon clear ekarngan agreement me menyami kar kamane security ngan kalai certain amount on a certain period managai uhamana komol chairman
Malawal
Komol senator kan kacita ko man jangan yang mana me CMI yogi dan Ministry of Finance as of then March 5th 2014 it 236 ingin lo finding nai 236,529.38 cents. Unen anak itu ke ini makutin boy college yang develop boy juan payment plan boy and clear jangan nai mereka mugi government di withholding tax.
Okay, lo an period in ngadanai komuji lo ke mana ini clear lo ami kalai lo.
Kami angai kalai rongol taujen juan aling. Ipen rongol alam ipen kobala ipen rongol tahu jenin kalau jenin ini offset para inward import tax kome ilo terin ke kalau yang me kalau ke kian siapa yang coba jenin kalau import tax pati ilo terin kami yang aja kalau lagi mau tanya nama yang karu muik import tax kan mereka aja proof jen Secretary of Finance baran offset menuin cuan ini cipang clear murin jangan apa jadi lu rongol tahu jenis poin cuan nampak me conservative poin cipang kian yo ala para ino cipang daily cash flow an kala jen aga kerjaan financial report aga aro kualo ke jangan yo me ciamai colongan cuan iya ngan kala import tax jadi lengan rubuh kita tahu jen so ilawano diain me aga ada berodo kene jago finding a jen withholding tax kumol
man komol Stevenson ilo HR report in what nuran wala ilo page chate kanai 38 chonyan finding kanai jigichen real property aga management and equipment ka record go jigichen fixed as at go ami emarong gele dok chon update kami perdog ya jigichen ami common corrective measure and finding it.
Chairman yang mana pun mengimarkan malam perwak. Kemol channel kan kacir kami man. Kalau kacir ke repeated finding, jen iya lagu taga jen iya ko malak dalang. Itama kacir cia mai wat author general ni polen kekabili kalau kami ini it's one challenge yang relevant into the national government jen management of fixed asset. Imilo terrain imonan report dengan kami ini ke ikamolo lobai auto begini anu tak kerja report dia lalu kerja itu kan cerita benchmark ko dengan kekamar malak cegi-ceginar manage chain gini cep chain gini no tak perino tak aja ginar can finding agar kemana boy kalau jangan page develop boy juan policy gal in addition to the existing policy on fixed asset policy ini itu kan track menako me college ini chain kan track jenuh ilo term ko me federal grant ko rekejar wali rajabat sensitive asset asset again ko me ibiru ko jadi itu otak kalau value yang anam ibiru ram pojok game dulu jalan kagai menagin kami chain kan track ilo college ini matan menako ini me agar kaman menin poin coba yang man auto tu yang yang lokar yolok another bagai the environment that we're working with all of year Jadi jim cecah aku adapt to it. Imun dan anak itu idea ini boleh jen creative policy dengan complement tak kain macam require jen federal grant ko aga prino internally local jen anu tak kain. All of kajuju ye it says risk me ne celat process enar manage komman boy jen marong detect and prevent any activities that is not allow iloar kantage charbal gin me rubin iloar kajabaro chen gin me an elangar komol
man komol Stevenson inaj palen ligdi kachita kanai jad me rajalet find di kanai pencabaj lukun pagi na modai na melolog yana lewa nanin congratulate the college and step forward in mejar kamane and other mejar move and chanta visit the low yola whether you along and here Miami Pello Plat and there was 9 in Kajram and again an improvement ela Tizloy. Ilo got to the Ancono Wardlo yola regularly issue yogan in cooperation establishment one friends of the college labda I get an MOU me komman lo 2008 o me me kimi orge chuan final ta complete MOU very pemikio o ched malali jaga ga chaban ki jaran kono ga ben ode chablu ko complete copy ga right per man me jari orge chuan complete dan copy in agreement ne orge chuan MOU na iman me jami ro aga e ji to chaban ko kono no ga lo train
I had anticipated that question to be the last question, but it's posed now. So
kami ko na ligdi nga ligda da so be man pa imano ligdi let's focus more on issue kana yon me number pulin elba ba pogi na me imano lewa jangan general bana ka for you to think about until the last. Maybe we can leave it the last question.
We'll keep that for the last one. More Senator. Let me give the opportunity to the colleague here, Senator David Kramer.
Komol Chairman, Pedro de la Guillermo Cote, Jalevim, Komol Stevenson, Katonum, CFO, Carl Hacker, President, CMI Canero. Chichuar Kachidigi, Chunye, Iloan Rupode, Polokan refund and Rujugu Rome, Kanan Kujung Rumut, Mjanre, Malaka than Chikijigan. Imaro Kachiduka can Kajuan.
Senator, are you not mandated to pay out the refunds at the end of the semester? Let me post that.
Komol Senator kan kaji to man pulin modajana one malam kemelo lagi pulin elang emani pamu iman leto ciri background kan cegi requirement kan human crane ilo Title 4 me izin me background je to jane chen Department of Education it require like every other federal grant by jen release fund gain Jongolemen ran elegin aragar drawdown yem ilo agar chino charbal ilo college igar chaniji chegin aragar manage grant boy elegin an argijong drawdown chanigin ejadal within the 14 days and rejugul parent kajarbale in the middle of a semester or at the beginning depending ngan ngaden me jaga drawdown ni chanin an jon rejugul padap agar ido yelang complain ngai another word chairman igar par jon rejugul lo college proud almanai igar par matai bijin rejugul me agar igallo chig how they spend that money ke most of it's not for educational purposes so ke igar rol to kom chugul lo ka irol to kom charbali lo college that idea agar still linger ilo kalaman lo jene age what can I do to make sure that it is used for the purpose that it was intended for? So, and now agar bagay ilo riboda modalok statement agar ko alok Chigigin are operate the manage chanagin me lidongan collagen chikajongan adapt to the environment. Imlale eleminar ugugodi chigigin jarbalgin ngane malagoyo ngan collagen yalabda rujuguro nijit. Imatan ogata go in me munan kalangan kamidina mga igar kajon bigot kilenum ugode emagar chuan finding ilogar iogolog mogalak chinon ilo kobanchala ge chuan menenana maine konet kajon kamane. So it was a test trial ragar hotodaro ragar red flag can requirement in me 14 days. Aga chamtamagayal there is still a way to resolve that 14 days. So, Jakar Jeje Longan US Department of Education Elgin Auto Deo, phone Kanani Belo Talabon, Nan Camilla Lake, Yataka Jakar Kamane, Chigin Chanijin. US Department of Education agar approve practice him. Munan Pangan Committee Namage, other school ilo Pacific and Rika German adapt the same because they're having the same problem. The idea behind that refunding on John Rujul advanced. Chagaron na change throw down ni janyo agilo yen mero register as advance log janyo ng law ID card and they're the one who's in control of it. They can spend it however they want it, what item. At the end of the semester when we close all student accounts, whatever money is left inem kami kajabala lang manrejuro kamene meje receive jan regagiro rekwalo ke man giye boy jawan rejuro karagalangan kilajurum way drop out right after refund date. So in a way, ejibang rejugul emerang nanay ben jodo rejugul bo yemelane the need for the immediate cash. In a way, meet that purpose. Nanay chijade longan kilaj room karere logar rejugul. Gichen finding na mera kwala bujane kenege irumut araga release fanagana echabukan jabarot echabukan cash flow situation bo nge jodongan refund it has to release when it's supposed to be released. Elang karjat another project kwala ko orchon system kal kamang kajarwale ki student information system. Yagalang jet ralako charwalo local system in another yagal test trial ayot. Imagar prevent kamang jet marang produce report ko on time to make sure that we have the right data before we can refund the students. So many of you may agar prevent amang marangar release refund again on time. Mr. Chairman, ang nilo audit respond na amang at kwalak ito kaya agar rungucha refund again do yun. Of course, it is a repeated finding, and I'm hoping I have the best team. Majalin ng handle the situation, and I'm proud of my team. We will be able to handle that. Mr. Chairman, ikanan ko wala kilo nanawan president Prainot congratulate the Rijarvaro Manda ilo business jo bigan charwal gain na roman kumol.
Well, Mr. Cotton, ejilong odchen Polen Senator Kramer one malawadmo.
Mol kumol gan melagom Polen chunin audit finding chalo problem ngai wala all of you ipa lo chanot kamelagom we charwal ngan intended purpose ngan education. Kachidaga kin karo President ne kembali kerja kan ta pengundan nego yang berjalan kalajan pengen kemanwen efficient lock ta erganti jen gom mulai tu gom menegi yang berjalan kalajan ta CV agak realize bagai lock ta $250,000 lo cuni ya yorge kagian agak Setelah manako beja elaban encourage all the parent pug measure again. Kalau jenis barang recommended dengan comedian bercomedian cara manda kitchen kagian cabut men kitchen energy efficient LDM kain kain. Pengen jelo yang mana kalau jenis jangan pakai all the project ujian kemana? Tahu kalau jenis barang recommended ujian kacung mana all the barang get on board barang realize saving gain. Kumol.
Please go ahead.
And I guess with the energy, our situation, we got back what we spent within a year, quicker than a year. We saw savings almost immediately as soon as we went over to the new ACs. But it wasn't just that. It's also new energy policy, And then it's making sure everybody at the school understands what the deal is. Energy costs money. You want computers, you want books, you want to go to a trip, you got to help me save the money. We have to do that. And so for us, it was, look, 2 years ago, we were almost finished financially. But now, I mean, this has been a huge, huge savings for us. And like I said, you recoup the money, you get what you spend back quickly. So, you know, spend a couple $100,000 now, save $600,000 over the next couple of years.
I want to give alam in general alam. Kaya balangan editor Senator Criminal Langan Senator Alfred Ngajlongot Kachidak. Jamano da one.
Komman Chairman, Berlin ngan parkoku baba ngan kachidaga yichien and payable gani. Majar konon withholding tax, Muruan tax ko jan yo walak. Agabar chatagane ngajlo report na me walo page 14, page 10, law audit report na. Chatagane bar payable rajwala wijana change to security tax payable, student refund payable. Payable to grantor agencies, Berlin and Mananga community, Palukun, communally given away notice a new item. I am accrued liability. Chitagani a payable, Nature and Malay, you're top line for one catching and cardioloc liability. Walo report ne. Empelina maname gichen payable to grantor agencies. Manowe kun kanali logic tane. I know you an item again.
Well, Senator, may clear Kachitago one Malahot Stevenson. Mr. Hacker.
Kumol, Mr. Chairman, Kumol Senator again, Kachitago, Yaman, Igichen, accrued liability gane, Jatan, annual leave go on him, sick leave go on and Kachu at the end of the reporting fiscal year. Imigichen, payable gane, Jet, and crime torgane, Chongo gane, make Kamaju, we make a major vision, Kajarwali, Kamaj report, the Yamam Kajarwali. Ngan kajojo grantor agency kana me kame kajarwali sen kana yer yung menangane report kan ya chongone one me kame ugi ngan grantor ne ikichen payable kana chat ngan refund menangane chongon ko kana me kame je kallagi ngan rejul me rechen pick up yo te wodu ya wa chongone one me aja gujar release ngan rejul
Student refund payable ejualo janta.
Ejualo jen jangan the reporting period na me nagar release jangan ngar rechen nagar release. So kaya agar close out the year ne kukune jalale school year kan ne their labs. Yang uninan per kilip cuan ne kena ke ejeni yen enoda pangan gue karangan ke committee ne ke cecep advance log refund na rejula cecep issue ke checken. So it's still in our books at that reporting period. Aga ejemela ne ke ejeni ka release longan rejuran. Ngayon et campaign do imi no en kami ang release lo. Abelen ini provide itu ke management ladayan jen auditoran pe madan ladayan me itu lang na orang ngan committee ne Mr. Chairman pe e outline ni oleven kajo join payable gain ngayalang ngayon jelang coin concern ko me kala jen aja ko jat resume out consider unagar kajar naneo Karjino lock Javaran unqualified audit on both financial and internal control. Again, there is a clean bill and collagen. Can get lang jet coin concern womer gujang ad regime. Elang refund and a coin concern ilam the way it's supposed to be as mandated the law Title 4 federal grant. Okay, inne manager lo ilo management la tayo kay we're not handling it the way what's supposed to be. Imano dagar kamilo lo mo kata ikichen finding ko me chanetan ne chuni ude jar ko alak kay imalalaga it's a finding aga bolen auditor general marang bar kajimu lang inibel aga at the end of the day it's the responsibility of the management to manage and to handle the accounting best practices yung ano dagar bagay chen chalayo wa ano chuan chief financial officer ilo kalajo igal logay it's a good practice yung ijalago nga finding I had to argue with the auditors that it's not a problem. But ilakar reading mandate ilo title 4 qualify. It doesn't have to be released in cash. As long the kio igalo we can do the practice that we're currently doing is the students have the last say in how they spend and when they spend that money. So kay igar jadi ben wadu darom lang may call up USDOE ana ka jungun gamalagyan the change of that practice ragar chilukan tok chuan chola bor bi gar jamarang provide tok chuan determination lada janier kain lada ne me yakarata jipen report ne padabi gi chen prior year question cause ne or juan determination lada re to jam DOE ngan gamalagim kwala ko practice jo yamman ngai jen garaje ka jojo entity alang lang finding and if they strongly feel that they can resolve that where it's a good practice in that entity, is encourage everyone and fight that finding up and continue with the practice that they're doing because not every finding it's a bad finding. Come on.
Mol, Rich Borga Jabalabangan, Senator Chonjan Majoro, David.
Kumol Chairman, and you know, I am working on a many never photo win, but came to Chuan. Chigujugu ar walong am rujugur am lerigen chadu garbar rujugulan gar CMI em marlo chat chigujugur ar puk chigir am rajab karchume em karchunier gar ene mi chit kono no ga yugo dak wenan charbal ki aga ilogar torego refund wo meron gar dangan ajiram rogo dak madalangan chona gar individual adlangar embezzlement em dan yor kunan bar concern jin em man plan on college mananga cepat kanan boy and work walk work kiju mar walk cemal more.
Just a statement to remind us of what transpired in the past. Orge parchabrio poi nei chalok ene idongan kachida goil gada. And perhaps aside from the last question on the College of the Friends of the College of the Marshall Islands MOU and the funds and you name it, however you want to present your statement to us on that in that regard. But also, I like to also understand with the current subsidy of RMI that is given to the college, our National College of the Marshall Islands. Can you take us a few years back? What is the subsidy looks like? Is it decreasing, increasing, stay the same? Please go ahead.
Well, I guess with the subsidy first, in real terms, it's decreasing. When the $3 million agreement was entered in 2006, 2007, it was about $1,900 a student. Today, that number is about $1,200 a student. We've had our enrollment effectively doubled. We've been able to get around that by just being more efficient with the budget the last couple of years. However, you know, there's not too many more efficiencies left in the budget. So this will, I think, become more of an issue for us going forward, especially if the student enrollment keeps increasing. It's already impacting us in a couple of areas, particularly with student services. But, you know, if the intention is for us, the school, to do more in vocational education, to do more in distance education, that's going to cost money. That's not, we can't do that for free. We can do some things with tuition, I mean with Pell, but that only goes so far because we can't charge or expect that our students are going to pay other tuition and fees on top of what they're paying now. That's just, There's just not that kind of disposable income. There has been a little bit of a decrease, from 3 million down to like 2.9 and things like this, but because of increased enrollment and efficiencies, we've been able to mitigate, I guess, some of this real loss in the value of the subsidy.
Karkachidagaangan President of GFOR Kokobaidok Chade Chano Kiani Lelangan Kalajin Kia Urgodak Ejalabalokay Chachangot Kiring and Yogolomanam Nilalawe Stephen Jen and Malcolm translate the Wagalokayan Mayagan Arroya.
Kumol ilo ar kalimijak changon jano me jito wajan kian ngan cibang to kalajo subsidio ilo dan ba ilo real value kan jangan increase in enrollment and rejul dollar per student ni menyan regalak ilo kar ye lak jabi lak chola ber do kar 2010 agar ilo anagar kian da budget committee kamanjon ngejama kemi 5% cut across the board agar per chelat kalajan magar regalak janjidu million agan cibuki jongol daw jendala im jangan ojo ngan jugul engage 2.8 aga anagar president kwalak jangan enrollment an jugul ni menyan labalok jangan en meju to wajan kian lang ko ni compare ngan jangan rejul menyan regalak jangan support engine kian ngan ka jojo rejul mol.
And I guess with the Friends of CMI, they no longer exist.
Before we get into that, Carl,
Yep.
Mr. President, let me pose a additional question to what you just said. Conservative figure, what amount would you be requesting the government to support the CMI to make your operation efficient as you provide the service to our students?
Moil, what I talked about with the Minister of Education is you're probably looking at about at least $500,000, at least another $500,000 a year. Student services as a department has not grown staff-wise or otherwise since 2006, 2007, and like I said, the number of our students has doubled, particularly with counselors, advisors, that type of thing. And then there's some things that we need to do on the voc ed side, vocational ed, technical ed, in terms of instructors and support, which is really growing, but like I said, resources are sketchy there for the future.
Okay, so the conservative number is 3.5. Thank you, million annually. Okay, I believe. There's another question.
I know this question should be posted to the event pro committee. Just for our information, what is the current event per capita given that the enrollment has increased and the level of subsidy remains the same? So what is the per capita? How much?
Right now it's about $1,200. In 2006, 2007, it was around $1,900.
So there's a big drop. Okay, Kumol, thank you. The final question, and that should wrap up our conversation today and our hearing with the college today, is please share with us in terms of where we are with the Friends of the College of the Marshall Islands. Last year we asked you on this arrangement, and you kind of reluctant not to answer us, and kind of said, this is something outside of our mandate to get into. But let's hear what you have to say this time around. More.
And even away, let us get specific while we are dwelling on this.
And then.
Okay.
Okay, let's hear the answer first, and maybe there'll be another 1 or 2 questions after that.
Come on. There is no Friends of CMI anymore. They're gone. No, we have been asking the same things you were asking last year for these finance reports for nearly 2 years. and we weren't getting any responses. Earlier this year, the response we did receive were, handwritten tax returns. That was all that we got. In May, when the former president was here, on the Friday, 23rd of May, we had a meeting with him, with about half of our board and about most of the senior staff at the school. It was about 15 of us. He brought before us the MOU, which Senator Alfred has been talking about. He wanted us to sign it and backdate it and then send it back to him. People were not very comfortable with that, and people were not happy. Over the weekend, members of the board Googled Friends of CMI and discovered that in May of 2013, they lost their 501c3 status because they did not file tax returns for 3 years. He sat there in that room and told us nothing, said nothing to us. Not only did we not know this, his own board at the Friends of CMI were unaware of this as well. There was no way to get your 501c3 status back after doing something like that. So basically what we did, the board and myself, was demand that the money in the endowment be returned back to the college. That transfer just took place 2 days ago. And that's the money, that's the, I guess, one of the attachments that's in there. So as of today, as of, I guess, about 3 weeks ago when I had to send back an affidavit to Washington, Friends of CMI doesn't exist. They did withhold about $50,000 just in case there's any tax liabilities. And if there aren't any, they'll return the remaining $50,000 after the new year. They transferred $1,080,000 to us last week that we put into our CMI endowment account. So I guess that episode is over. But unfortunately, this is not the first time that we've had a board duped by this previous president of the school. Because this financial mess that the school found itself in, to be completely honest, can be laid at his feet, along with what happened here with the Friends of CMI, because there was no reason for it to end this way. But because he did what he did, I mean, that's it. So I guess starting in FY14, this reporting on the CMI endowment will probably be some feature of the endowment. Or the audit report. I'm not sure how that's going to work. But Friends of CMI no longer exists. Money has been returned. It was given back to the college, and like I said, it's in the CMI endowment account. So that's where we are.
Thank you. What was the amount that RMI inject into that? Did RMI ever inject any money into that particular fund?
They did when I was at the school the first time around. About 15 years ago, we received $75,000 as part of some excess comp at the old 221B under the Compact 1. I'm not sure if there was any other amounts after that, but I know for at a minimum, it was $75,000 back in 1999. But when they transferred this money in 2008, it was $850,000. I'm not sure what the makeup of that fund was then.
Okay. I think one of them, Matt. Go ahead.
Chairman, ngay maro dan yor kar chirikal mirale aro do jan kar pen about jan kar pen auditor dan auditor general Kim Jon pugi taujin meno kar contribution on kar government long on kar Friends of CMI. Maro ka chid president about 75,000. The number that we heard that RMI contributed was $700,000 into the Friends of CMI?
That I don't know. I don't know that for certain. I can't say yes or no to that.
เช่นcollege and Malay. Okay.
Chairman ngay marang on maladum lab radio chirik pa
On malawan mo.
75,000 yo me president kanan ka gar to national government ngan endowment ngan chinunan gar establish jej kanan ngan ro fund ka kia lakar grow endowment nan CMI imegar tabar chongan chen go me relap tagar transfer other channel me marang ko kala more detail ngan ke committee na tagar transfer la ko establish friends of the college. That's how it would. Jigin Riana got established for the purpose of fundraising to the college. Imaran Kuala idea and create foundation really benefit CMI. Ijinamian got applying and grant and can strategy on again 501c3. Can get incorporated the law American General got tap into funding game Majalina upon tap into. So the idea behind that was really good. Jangan jeno me CMI akan lelong ngan kalau kalau dalam tabar cimyon buku cuma $1,000. Yang fundraising go agar kemana way funding na imun friends of the college yang tabar log $1 million ilo dari ni merah return itu. So jangan me CMI agar contribute cimyon buku cuma $1,000 overall include funding me agar dalam government. So funding ini agar dalam endowment fund yang nama lagu mai cirik dan jangan fund yang CMI. Ngan establish 501c3 in man college aga ngan gamelale channel public room me racha melale kajen belle me ngan report an project ni raini ne manyan roll the all even channel is laguno the lemon $1,000 ngan liability purposes kan ke cagar kaju close account yan chap charwala dengan liability purposes aga ngan if there is any future tax ilogar anagar establish 501c3 para ini ni menyan roll dog CMI imperilo endowment fund yang CMI. Ukataga yang friends of the college yung endowment fund yang CMI bodo yung president yung jalak IRP de logilo dan 501c3 pike kenege ilang cuanan makai governing board. So it was a complete independent component. Aga elak roll dog jangan dengan roll dengan CMI yung endowment nai. Kia beri human president yang bodoh an college. Itamak pelen nge emelalagi kumol.
Man clarifies the difference in the two different contribution to the endowment fund and the Friends of CMI. Not Jabarot, well, man. It looks like another one. So.
Last question. Then endowment fund it pen auditor general man. Who are you man? Come on.
Okay.
It's not paying for anything. I guess just one more piece of information on the endowment. To replace an endowment to replace Pell or financial aid in 2024. This was a question that we asked last year. How big does the endowment fund need to be to replace $4.1 million? That's $125 million. So what I've told people at school is don't worry about 125 right now, worry about 2 million. Let's get there first. But depending on what happens in 2023, 2024, certainly the endowment of the national school cannot be $1 or $2 million. But that's just a point of information.
That's a fair, critical information. Although it should really be addressing the appropriation committee and perhaps MIMRA through the PNA. But so annually then, what would be sufficient amount to meet the under 25 after 2014, 2023? Annually, what should be injected into that endowment fund?
Oh, well, I mean, we haven't gone into, what you need to inject annually to get to 125. But I mean, that's about the size that you need to replace what could be lost. We don't know when 2023 arrives. Otherwise, you know, you're going to have to take a look. The college will be totally different, you know, then. I mean, depending on what happens. I mean, in terms of the size and the budget of the school. So there will be a lot to think about over these next few years. And this is information that we have shared with, you know, members of the government.
Wow, okay. Kamal, thank you. I think we should conclude today. We had a long day today, starting late, and because of technical problems with the equipment. But we want to thank you, Mr. President, and your GFO for coming and present your report and presentation before the committee. We appreciate that, and we have actually learned quite a bit from this conversation. And we'll continue to help each other in any way we can. We'll see what we can insert or include in the report before the Nitijela in terms of some of what you've shared with us as challenges for the college, aside from the audit that we've already looked at and scrutinized together. So we expect next year we'll have reduced findings, still an unqualified audit, but reduced findings. So we look forward to that. So thank you on behalf of the committee, each member and Auditor General and Attorney General's office and LG's office. Thank you for coming. Ilo tarin inich on manodam kamanichuan palin kachala moda janar kili ngan schedule an ilju ech chula rojulu ran wanche chinojen chongola wa chipung ngan chongoro awa ech Marshall Island Postal Services mjen chuna awa ngan chilu awa as Marshall Island Social Security Administration MISA chen chuna awa ngan chilu awa chailu juot chen chilu awa ngal mawa Marshall's Energy Company Koba Kajur and all the Bojak Punabonagain and Punabonago Managin Jay Lalibora Bojak. Iliju Rongochilu Ran, Wanche, Chino and Chongola Chipung. And many in Kuelawin and Public Accounts Committee, Radio Lorraine, but Jonalan Kamola Labro, Boconairum Rar Cheredok, Kavalapata Vision other channel, as partner and committee, train rich staff, couple of Tata key staff and member and committee lawyer Peram, Kajabarok Charabalagain and Nitijela. Many what Kakija Mairana Chongola Chipung.